Tired of feeling like you're spinning all the plates in your design business and at any moment they could all come crashing down? Are you feeling like you're so close to breaking through to the next level, but those consistent projects still aren't flowing your way? Are you ready to finally take your business from a hobby to 100K and beyond? Then welcome to the SixFigure Designer Podcast. I'm talking all the techniques you need in your design business to start paying yourself, get great clients, and finally break through that 5-figure ceiling.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me for another episode of the podcast. I'm Pam Durkin. I'm the closing coach for interior designers, and today we're going to talk about the holiday slippery slope and how time seems to have no meaning while we, make our way through the holidays. But first, I want to just talk to you a little bit about why I'm called the closing coach. You might not know this, but I am still a practicing designer. And I have closed a 5-figure design fee just in the last couple weeks in my own business. And I did this in less than 5 days. And I do this a lot in my business, and I never really thought anything of it. And when I recounted this story to a friend of mine, she was like, "What? That's not normal. Like, that's really incredible." And it was then that I realized that I needed to quantify and qualify what I do in my own business to achieve that so I can help designers like you do it for yourselves as well. So if you haven't listened to that episode where I kind of go through the whole process of what I'm looking for and what I'm listening for and how I'm qualifying a client, go ahead and check out episode 80. And it gives you all the details on how I went ahead and did that. This is one of the big reasons that I started the Luxury Client Academy. I want to help other designers just like you be able to close clients in 5 days. So if you've been struggling to find great clients, to make those great contacts, to close clients in your design business, then check out my 9-month coaching program where I help you triple your profits and we measure your results so you know exactly where you stand. And we track your progress throughout the entire program. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out the show notes for the application and how you can get in touch with me in case you have any questions on that. So this time of year can be joyous and also can be super stressful. We've got the end of the year school events. We've got those holiday parties. Of course, we've got the food prep and the cleanup. I think I spent like 4 or 5 hours in the kitchen over the Thanksgiving holiday, just cleaning up. It was just a several days long process, just getting everything cleaned up and put away. So I totally get it. And then you've got to figure out presents and getting your projects buttoned up because, of course, everyone wants their homes to look beautiful for the holidays. And all of that can be super overwhelming. And we can get really caught up in getting it all done. And unfortunately, we take the eye off the ball when it comes to sales and marketing in our interior design businesses. And you may not realize it, but the holiday slippery slope can have some major consequences when it comes to how much business you're going to book next year. And this becomes the time of the year where we take our foot off the gas because, quite frankly, hey, it's the holidays. Let's coast till the end of the year. I'll get to it. I'll get to it in the first of the year. It's fine, right? Or, no one's really working anyway, and I don't want to bother them while they're getting ready for the holidays and kind of coasting through the end of the year. Or maybe you're thinking, let me get through this busy time and I'll just figure out my plan come January 1st or after January 1st when I have that, that clean slate feeling, that feeling at the beginning of the year when you're like, oh, it's like all reset and I can start over and things that happened last year, no way are going to happen this year, right? So it's the clean slate feeling of waiting till after the first of the year. But believe it or not, this is the time of the year when you want to keep your foot on the gas. And why do I want you to do that? Because I don't want you to be putting off making money. The longer you wait, the longer it takes to get the ball rolling. And people are in a great mood this time of year. This is the perfect time to make new contacts, to reach out to people. They're feeling very generous. They're feeling like they're in the holiday spirit. This may be the perfect time to be talking to people. They also might be taking things slower in their own business so they have more time, right? And I want you to remember that making contacts takes time, especially new ones, especially ones that you're developing from scratch. It typically takes 3 to 6 months for a new contact to start referring you. And one of the major reasons is trust. And of course, if you think about if you've ever referred somebody in your business to a client of yours, you're very careful who you expose to your clients, right? Because you want them to be, or you feel that they're a total reflection of you. So, same with new contacts for you. They have to feel really, really comfortable that you're going to be an asset and not a detriment to what's going on in their business. And that typically takes time, it takes several months. So, if you decide that you're going to wait till January, and I bet it's even going to be longer, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you wait until January to contact them, you've just extended your time to get an opportunity from them from 3 to 6 months to now 4 to 7 months. So you have to be thinking about how that's going to affect your pipeline going into the new year. And the problem is that the slope gets slippier. Is that a word? It gets more slippery. How about that? As the time goes on. So let's just say, it's December. So we got to deal with all the holidays. We're coming off of Thanksgiving. So we have all of that. And then we get through the holidays. And come January, we have that clean slate feeling, right? But you're thinking, let me get the kids settled back in school. Let me get the house put back together from the holidays. And that all like, oh, let me have some little time to kind of the ramp up after vacation, that little ramp up that you need, that time, that week or two that you need to just kind of get back into the swing of things from being off for so long and having that wonderful downtime. The other thing that I'm seeing people do, myself included for sure, is I've got to have the whole plan fleshed out before I start anything. So I need to know all the steps. I need to get a marketing plan in place. I need to know what kind of new clients I'm going to go after, what kind of projects I'm going to go after. I can't forecast any of that until I know exactly what I'm doing. I know all the steps. I just want to know everything. And then you get worried too. We are worriers as designers, aren't we? That if I run into somebody like a builder and says, what kind of projects are you looking for? That you want to fully know your schedule so that you can answer in the most complete way possible, that you're looking for these kind of projects, right? We want to control all these aspects of what's going on in our business instead of saying, let me reach out. Let me see if there's an opportunity. I realize that this is going to take some time. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's just let it flow from there. So when we want to know all the steps in the whole process before we reach out to someone, it just takes so much time that nothing ever happens. And I have to say, you're never going to know all the steps. If you listen to one of my previous episodes, I think it's episode 79, it's like the answers are revealed in the work. You have to start doing the thing, reaching out, making those contacts before you start to realize, oh, I had this situation come up. How do I handle that? Oh, I met with this person and they said they need help in XYZ area. I'm not sure how I can meet that need. That's what comes up as you start to dive in. You can never have all the answers ahead of time. And I just want to pause for a moment and say, this is one of the great values of the Luxury Client Academy. Because as you're going through and making these new contacts and having these specific situations come up, that's where you can reach out to me and we can talk about several ways that you can address that so that you're making the most of it and that you feel really good about the opportunities, that you're not compromising, the types of services that you're offering, that you're keeping that dialogue going so that it's an open conversation. So that is one of the things where you can be reaching out to me and we can be talking through what's going on with builder A and what's that situation happening there. And then I'm also, talking to realtor B and how would I approach things slightly different for a realtor than a builder. That's one of the great values of the Luxury Client Academy is having me on your shoulder, in your back pocket, so that you can ask me questions and then we can work through all of that stuff real time. So let's just get back to the old slippery slope. So you want to know the answers ahead of time, but you're just not going to. That's not how this works. You have to go through it and see what the questions are that are coming up. So again, if you're waiting till January and then you want all those answers, you're not going to have them. And then next thing you know, it's mid-February, maybe it's the end of February. And guess what? The first quarter's almost done. March is the first quarter. And so what happens is the time just keeps moving and there's always a reason for you to not start. So I have to say that you need to get started before you think you're ready. And by the way, you're never going to feel ready. There's always, something that's going to be in the way. You'll never feel like you have enough time or enough money or you have enough bandwidth so that you can give it the effort that you feel like it needs. It's never going to happen. We only prioritize what we put into our schedule, right? So it's the way things work. There's always something to do. So thinking that there's going to be some great break that comes up, mid-January or January 1st or in a few weeks or in a few months, it's never going to happen. So you have to just carve out the time to dive into your business and figure out this networking and marketing and sales. It never feels like the perfect time. You just have to make it a priority. So the other thing that everyone should realize is that it always takes longer than you think. Our brains are trained to underestimate the time it takes to accomplish tasks. Have you ever blocked time on your calendar to maybe pick out for a furniture for a project and you're like, I can do this in 4 hours. And instead, at the end of the time frame, it actually takes 4 days. Now, ultimately, it may have only taken you 4 hours to do of actual working time. But perhaps along the way, you got interrupted 1 or 2 or a million times by the bings and the bongs and the emails and the, notifications on Instagram and all that. Or maybe you got frustrated while you were doing the selections because you have something in your mind and you just can't find it. And it's just, when you get that idea in your head of what you want something to look like and you're looking and looking and looking and you can't find it. And it's just so incredibly frustrating. Well, yes, because we're always looking for the unicorn, right? But if you got frustrated and you needed to take a break from it, you needed to walk away, you needed to kind of come back to it, right? That happens a lot when we're working on projects. And it's going to happen as well when you're doing sales and marketing and networking in your business. And the other reason is you're definitely going to need breaks because it's uncomfortable, because you're doing some things that you haven't done before, maybe contacting people that you hadn't contacted before, maybe moving into a new area of your business that you really want to develop, but you're just not, you're not feeling fully confident about it because it's new and you're figuring it out. And then the third thing that may happen to you is you got that emergency call, got to put the fire out where the builder calls you and says, you got to come here right now, today, to see this huge problem that's going on. So you get this call and something has to be addressed right away. That's how maybe 4 hours of work can get stretched out into 4 days. It's just the nature of running a small business. So that's one of the other reasons that the Luxury Client Academy is 9 months. I know that you're also running a business. You're doing design and you're dealing with maybe staff, maybe you're drawing, and you're going to meetings and talking to clients. Like, I know there's other things going on in your business. I totally get it. And it just takes time. So I want you to be able to do quality networking and identifying opportunities and have a little more time to follow through on all of that because it does take time. So I get that you have all the things going on, not only in your business, but then, outside of business, which is family obligations and all the things that happen after you close your laptop for the day. So I want you to start sooner rather than later so that you don't lose 3 more months in time in terms of figuring out how you're going to get that pipeline to be at a point where you really are happy about it. So the moral of the story is don't keep waiting for the perfect time to start networking and growing your business into that next level. Don't let the holidays be the reason you stop working on your business. In fact, I think this is one of the best times to do this. The perfect time is actually now. So if you're ready to start your 2025 plan now, then reach out to me about the Luxury Client Academy. The first month, we spend a lot of time together delving into your business, dissecting all the things that are going on. And this time of year is the perfect time for you to dive into your numbers, from 2024 to really understand where you want to go in 2025 and plan for next year. That week between Christmas and New Year's where it's typically very quiet and half the time we can barely remember like what day it is, what's happening. Like it's the most glorious time of year, right? Because time has no meaning and we really enjoy that downtime from work. Well, I think that this is the best time, and I find this in myself, that this is the best time to be dreaming and planning about where I want my business to go the next year because it just feels a lot more relaxed and I have a lot more open space in my mind to be able to like think about things and go down different paths and scenarios and see what is exciting and interesting to me. So I suggest that you do this as well, is that you spend some time between Christmas and New Year's really thinking about your business. And of course, I would love to help you plan what your next level of success looks like in your interior design business. And of course, the sooner we get started, just like in interior design, when somebody asks you, when is the earliest time you should get a designer involved? And we all say as early as possible, right? Same with your business. When is the time to get a business coach involved? As early as possible. So you need to be thinking about how can you get help so that 2025 literally hits the ground running and that you're already making choices and deciding on what projects you're going to take and what that looks like. So I encourage you to reach out to me. Of course, if you have any questions about the Luxury Client Academy, all my information is in the show notes on how to get in touch with me. And I want to help you triple those profits in the next 9 months. So go ahead and check out the details in the show notes. Simply reach out to me if you want to talk further or have any other questions. And thanks so much for hanging out with me today. And I will see you next time.